Hey guys, welcome back to Toronto Express. Today's video is going to be about Saturn's transit for Virgo ascendant or a Virgo moon sign, and or a Libra moon sign or a Libra ascendant. So let's get back to it. Now, first of all, for everyone who was waiting for my video, thank you so much for your patience. I got your messages. It's just that it was a tax season. As you know, I'm not a professional astrologer. I'm someone who researches a lot. I've learned through reading. I've learned through going through different horoscopes and kundalis and different stuff. So that's how I learned, and that's how I want to bring it to you guys. So one of the best astrologer, trust me, could be the person who can read his own chart or her own chart, and that's the way you should be aiming to go for instead of going and paying to other astrologers. So let's get on with it. Hope everyone is safe in the COVID-19 situation, and let's start with it. So, as you can see, it's the first one is Virgo ascendant. Virgo is symbolically is considered to be the last immortal who left the earth, and the people with this sign are usually considered to be stingy, someone who don't like to spend a lot of money, someone who is very particular about cleanliness and different habits of where the things should be, how the things should be, and so on and so forth. In a way that some might even say that they have uh, an OCD, compulsive disorder. So that is Virgo for you. One of the best things is that they're very rational, prudent about spending money, unless a Virgo sign in itself is damaged or somehow badly aspected. Otherwise, Virgo sign is considered to be one of the best signs for someone who can handle finances. So let's check out the next slide. So so for the Virgo ascendant, Saturn is transiting through Capricorn, which is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is the fifth house. Fifth house is all about, as you can see, fifth house is all about romance, love, investments, your short-term, not basically the investments, but short-term trading, your hobbies, your kids, your love affair, the things that you do in your part-time. Uh, Also the things that you would usually uh, receive as a gift from your ancestors or from your previous birth or from your heritage, something that your father did, and it you inherited those things directly from your father or your mother. So it's basically fifth house is in a way a house of inheritance of habits. The things that your parents used to do, you kind of tend to go towards it. So Saturn coming in the fifth house is obviously not a great sign, because Saturn does not do good in Kendras and or Trikon, specifically um, when it is heavily afflicted, or going through a different transit multiple ways. So Saturn sitting in the fifth house is going to impact all of the things that the fifth house usually shows. So after June 2020, Jupiter will move on to your fourth house, and Saturn will give its true effect. Now, fifth house, second house, and the fourth, 11th house are all the houses of finance. So remember, during this transit, it's going to go through 5, 7, 11, and second. These all houses are money-related houses, the wealth-related houses. So wealth is definitely going to be is going to be your major area of focus in this transit. There's a major transformation in your wealth and finances for the next 2.5 years. These houses also represent your relationship around you. The transit is going to be one of the most important years in your life. And trust me, guys, when I say this, you are going to remember my words. After a couple of years, you will remember how this year changed your life. And this transit for the next 2.5 years, how this changed everything for you. So moving on to the next one, Saturn transiting the fifth house and aspecting your seventh house. So Saturn is controlling your fifth house of romance, children, relationship, and finance. There'll be so much action in these areas, especially because Jupiter is also transiting here, and Mars just landed a couple of months back, couple of weeks back. So Mars also was here, and everyone is making so much movement to the fifth house, meaning you will have to put a lot of energy, thought about who you want in your life, and recycle of your friendship. Because remember, from fifth house is also aspecting 11th house, and fifth house is also seventh from your 11th house. So again, your friendship, your partner, your short-term friends, the people that you usually meet around, hang out with, matters a lot. And as far as the second aspect of fifth house is basically your kids or children, you will be focusing a lot on your children, working on the discipline of your children. You may think that okay, they require more discipline. They require basically you may be forced to, or you may love to spend more time with kids, and you don't get that time, or you're kind of annoyed with your children, or you are kind of uh, some of those sort things can happen at this time, specifically because a lot of people are right now working from home. So especially for Virgo ascendant guys, you may feel that you are somehow losing your freedom. Somehow you're not able to control your kids. Somehow you're trying to overly control your kids, or you're trying to force discipline into your kids. You're trying to tell them what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and so on and so forth. And this may bring in a little bit of tussle between you and your partner, because seventh house Saturn is aspecting your seventh house as well. Now, remember these two houses are houses of relationship and marriage and partnerships. So there is a possibility that you may meet someone new, meet a partner who has Saturnian qualities, someone who brings Saturnian attitude towards you, or you bring Saturnian attitude towards them, or someone who brings out Saturnian attitude from your heart. So these are the things that you can aspect or expect during these times. And remember, fifth house is also speculative tendencies. It is where you invest, short-term trade, day trading in the stock market. So remember, when fifth house goes, it gives you valuable lessons. So remember, you have to focus on learning those lessons, as opposed to someone who's trying to get more money out of it, or trying to make money out of it. So you cannot do that at this time. You have to learn. You will. It's best time if you just put your energy into learning those things, because it is going to make you a master. But if you are investing, it's gonna teach you, no, nevertheless, but it's gonna teach you with some difficult lessons. So you may want to or intend to invest in sports, or sports companies, or entertainment, which is also fifth house industry. You may also want to invest in petroleum or underground products or projects, the gas companies, and so on and so forth, because Saturn signifies those things, and fifth house is investment. So you may be starting to focus on those investments overall. So moving on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is Saturn aspecting your 11th house. So Saturn will go through your friendships, and it'll kind of weed out the friends who are not really your friends, and they will have those aspects too, and you will have those aspects too. Some of the friends may become annoying to you, and you may start thinking, you know what, I should probably stop hanging around these friends. They may cause you financial problems. They may cause you financial debt. They may cause trouble in your different friends and or your friend circle. So you may be considering recycling your friends. One of the major things that I've seen when this happens is that you tend to spend less time with your friends. You tend to go away, um, you know, seclude yourself or go away because of one or the other reason, responsibilities, or you're trying to get into business, and or you had a huge business loss, or whatever could be the reason. But you definitely have a recycle of your friends. There may be new Saturnian kind of friends coming into your life later on in the Saturn transit, but at the meantime, in the meantime, you will see some of your friends will go away. Some of your friends will, fair weather friends will move out and do something else. And you may also come across someone talking behind your back. And remember, this is transit. Okay, it's not that person. It's not you. It's not anyone else. It's the transit, and you got to go through this transit and learn what are the things that you made. What things you made. Which made them say those things, or what were your mistakes. um, I think someone really great said this. You know, there's nothing really bad that happens to your life. Either you learn a lesson, either you get an experience, or it's just great life. So just think about those things and move on with your life. Now, 11th house is also a good house in terms of your investments. So you may start strategizing, thinking about your long-term goal. So you may Saturn will force you to think, what about long-term? You spend a lot of time with your friends. You spend a lot of time out of your house now, but what about your friends? I'm sorry. What about your long-term? What happens when you retire? When you are looking for a long-term settlement and so on and so forth. So you will start thinking in those terms, and you will start thinking investing in those terms as well. So that's basically Saturn's aspect to the 11th house, and then we move on to the Saturn's aspect to the second house. Now, second house aspect is obviously one of the best times to move forward to the foreign country, because it's basically signifies isolation. It separates you from everything and everyone, and kind of family as well. It separates you from the way you eat your food, the food you like, and so on and so forth. So Saturn's aspecting your second house is definitely one of the times when you start thinking of moving to abroad, or start thinking of different ways of investing, because second house again is your money, is the money out of pocket. So whatever you're earning is not going to stay with you. You will find it difficult to save money. But again, Saturn will cultivate a habit into you, when you will start putting in. Let's, for example, you would start thinking, let's say, where you were thinking, I don't know if what's the point of investing or putting in $50, 50 rupees or 50 whatever currency aside, because it doesn't make any difference. It's just $50, which is not much. But now Saturn coming into your second house, it will teach you a lesson where you would start thinking, you know what, I should put $50 aside, or $20 aside, or $25 aside every single week or a month, or whatever your situation may be. So that's what Saturn in the second house will bring to you. So it is one of the important aspects, as I said already, because it's importantly it is aspecting your second, affecting your second, your fifth house, your 11th house. So and your seventh house. These are all earth houses. These are all money houses. Okay, these are all relationship houses. So something really, really major is going to happen to you in this year. So you gotta hold on to it. So now we will move on to Libra. Libra, okay, one of the most favorite signs of mine. Libra is a diplomat. Okay, he's someone who works for a UN, for example, or United Nations or WHO. Someone who's always trying to be a diplomat. Someone who's always trying to build a bridge between two places and getting into a new area, a new direction, and so on and so forth. So Libra is basically a sign of it represents scales, scales, and have a tendency of being diplomatic and strive to maintain equilibrium. Their responsibility is to promote and maintain harmony and relationship every single place. Okay, that's what they think. Like, what do I have to do? Is I have to be a mediator and create an equilibrium, a balance of relationship. They really hate to take sides. They usually run away if they have to take sides, unless there is some other, obviously there's some other heavy aspect to the Libra sign, or the seventh house. It's a different story. Or if you have a Mars in the seventh house, and Mars in Libra, people are more committed to one side as opposed to being more diplomatic. The Libra is a diplomatic sign. So let's go on to the next one. So for Libra, so Capricorn falls into your fourth house. So Capricorn sign, Saturn is transiting through your fourth house. So Saturn is going to affect your fourth house, your sixth house, your 10th house, and obviously your first house, because it's the 10th aspect. Saturn has three aspects. Remember, Saturn has three places it looks at. One is the third house from itself. Saturn also looks at seventh house from itself, and Saturn also looks at the 10th house from itself. And it's going to affect, and it's going to bring in some chemical reaction in all those houses. So let's first talk about the fourth house. What is fourth house? Fourth house is your real estate, your car, your luxury, your air conditioning, your your mother, your real estate investment, and so on and so forth. So Saturn coming here is going to definitely affect these things. So let's say, for example, if you have, it's going to put some pressure on your mother in terms of human being, in terms of relationship. If you talk about it, it's going to put some pressure on your mother. If you talk about real estate, as far as the real estate is concerned, remember, when Saturn transits the real estate houses, remember, you do not invest in construction. New constructions are no, simply because Saturn is a karaka for delayer, and if you invest in some new property or new construction, it's going to take a long time for you to finish it. So do not invest in real estate right now. If you're buying a new car, make sure you buy it on a good day, not in a Rahu Kal or anything like that, simply because Saturn can give you some troubles in terms of your vehicle as well. Now, remember, Saturn is a close friend of Venus. Venus signifies cars, loves, luxury, and so on and so forth. So it's not that bad as bad as the house, because the house is represented by Mars, which is Saturn. It's a friendly sign. Mars is not a friend of Saturn. But again, as far as the vehicle concerned, you may think of buying a second-hand vehicle. You may, if you already own a car, you may put in some money to make it better. You may buy, change your audio system, or you may, highlight, do something about your car. May change the color of the car, something like that. You may invest some money in cars, or so on and so forth. Or if not, then you may be getting a ticket. You may get a big ticket, like $400 or $500 worth of tickets, and so on and so forth. So anyways, so that's all Saturn in the fourth house. Saturn aspecting your sixth house, your pets. Sixth house is your pets, your servants, your service, your office, the place you work. Fourth house is also the place you work. Sixth house is basically your basically your environment, the kind of people that you work with. Fourth house is basically a real estate of an office where you work, and sixth house is the people that you work with. So fourth house aspecting your sixth house, office, Saturn aspecting from fourth house to your sixth house. You have to remember this. Sixth house is one of the favorite houses of Saturn, so it's not that bad. But remember, Saturn, just like Jupiter, when it comes in, it's going to kick you really bad in the ass. It's going to tell you, okay, you're going to increase your debt. You really love your debt, don't you? So it's going to give you more debt. And as soon as it gives you more debt, it's going to give you the lesson that, okay, more debt is not good. You have to manage your debt. So sixth house Saturn can give you that. Also, on the opposite side, if there's not so good aspects, Saturn can cancel your loans, or Saturn can try to finish off your loans. Saturn can give you a way or situation, or create a situation where you pay off your loans, and at the same time, it may give you a lower interest loans. Let's say, for example, you already have a home mortgage, you have a variable rate of interest, and now because of the interest rates going down and down and down, you may refinance your house and lower down your debt, and specifically your home debt, because Saturn is sitting in the fourth house, looking in the sixth house. So that is one of the major possibilities: refinancing your debts, recalibrating your debts, and so on and so forth. Now, if Saturn is also aspecting your 10th house, one of the things that before I forget, Saturn 6th house will create some problems in your married life. It will bring more arguments, or it will, because 4th house in itself is happiness, and Saturn coming in the 4th house is not so good. Remember, Saturn is delayer and kind of an obstacle to an immediate gain. So it'll, all of a sudden you will see that something in your life change, which was your favorite thing or to do, or something that you loved a lot, all of a sudden you're not going to be able to do it. Saturn in the 6th house will increase friction with your wife or spouse, or an increased friction with, and it may bring in your opposition in front of you, which you may basically obviously not like it. Saturn aspecting your 10th house gives a lot of responsibility at work. It will give you new responsibilities. It may even take you away from work. It may even take you a new kind of work. It may put what do you call new responsibilities with lesser pay. It will affect your public image. It will affect the way public see at you. There may be some scandals that, the small scandals, not the major ones. So that's the 8th house. The small scandals, the small mistakes that you did may all of a sudden come onto the light, or you may all of a sudden start feeling that, okay, you know what, this is what I did and no one knows about it, and now you start being afraid about it because for some reason something happened or in your vicinity, and you now start thinking about the stuff that you've hidden from other people for so long, and that will give you a lot of fear and kind of make you sleep less at night. And then Saturn is aspecting it will give some pressure on to your father, because remember, 10th house is your father. Now again, this is a very generic attempt at predicting your transit through Saturn. There's so many different things that will depend on whether what I'm saying is true or not, because Sun represents father, your 10th house Lord represents father. Just Saturn aspecting your 10th house in itself doesn't make a difference. At the same time, 4th house is Moon, but Mars and Moon, 4th house is Mother, but Mars and Moon both in certain ways represents your mother as well. So again, depending, and fourth house lord in itself, again, obviously it represents mother. So things like that will make a lot of difference to your chart and the prediction of your chart. Now moving on to the next one, Saturn aspecting your, so this is your sixth house. Saturn is also legal matters, daily routine, hidden enemies, people who pray for your troubles. Sixth house is also house of service, servants, service, debts, and pets. So your pets, if you have a lot of pets, you may see that them going through trouble. You may have to take them to a doctor more often than not. At the same time, you may have to take them to doctor for troubles or problems, or more often than not. Then Saturn is 10th house. We just discussed Saturn house. It's aspecting the Cancer sign. Again, the mother sign will bring challenges to your career. You may gain new opportunities during this time, but not before some initial struggle. This is not a good time for your father or father figures. Additional responsibilities due to marriage in the family or some construction-related work is possible. For a businessman, Saturn will bring new challenges and competitors. You will be forced to revisit your pricing. Obviously, because Saturn is aspect, remember, from 10th house in itself is a public image, and it's your clientele as well. So it will affect your business, and your clientele will change as well. I'm sorry. And last but not the least, Saturn is aspecting your first house. First house is yourself, your body, your physique, the way you look, and so on and so forth, and the way you feel. So all of a sudden, you may feel that there is a lot of unwanted responsibilities. You may have to maintain diplomacy, because remember, first house is a Libra itself. Libra is relationship, diplomacy, and Saturn coming here, all of a sudden taking you away from all the things that you like. Saturn will say, "Oh, you know what? You gotta watch out who you hang out with. You gotta." And remember, one more thing, that first house in itself is you, and seventh house in itself is relationship around you and your partner. So it will give you lessons on those. A lot of responsibility about relationship, including but not limited to your boss, your spouse, your friend circle. You may see a lot of changes. You may see a lot of input in your friend circle and your spouse and relationship around you in general as well. You'll be forced to choose between friends and call out an adversary. It can be stressful, especially for people with prominent Libra or Venus in the chart. However, it can again depend on the Venus sign in itself, and people will come to you with demand, asking to provide for your loyalty to them. Now, this is not a comfortable situation for Librans. Librans are diplomats. They are someone who stay in between. They don't want to take sides, but this is a time when they will have to take sides. This is a great time to start a new venture, because Libra is, as a sign, is a sign of businessman. So it is a great time to start business, new responsibilities, added responsibilities, a lot of work. You may start getting a lot of work that you didn't anticipate. It is a good time, trust me. You will go through certain lessons for first one and a half year, and then you will start making the best out of it. So I guess that's about it for today. And if you have any questions, please do not forget to comment below, like and subscribe to my channel. And I will bring in more and more videos as soon as possible. And ciao, and have a nice one. Take care.